Hey everybody, so as you know that these days a lot of people are using Microsoft Teams or Zoom or these type of platforms in order to teach online or in order to work online or attend meetings or things like this. So in this video I'll be giving you 10 different tips that can help you become a much better user of Microsoft Teams that many people do not use. So stay tuned and look for the 10 tips that are going to help you navigate Microsoft Teams in a much better way. The video is coming up next. Hey, what's up? Faizan here from ResearchBeast. On this channel, I share different tips and tricks for researchers, different motivational talks, and I also talk to experts about the research methods or anything related to research. So if you're interested in content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so as you know that Microsoft Teams has a little bit confusing layout, and sometimes it just becomes a little bit overwhelming for people who are looking into it. So what we need to do is try to understand a little bit for those of you who are starting to use it for the first time, how it's just an easy layout to understand. So here's one vertical banner where you have a few main icons that you can see here. This one is activity chat. This chat is all the chat that you have, including from any channels, groups, anybody who have messaged you, all that chat in one place, which sometimes is a good thing, especially if you have a lot of contacts who you are talking with. And then this one is Teams, which is basically the crown jewel of this whole program. So the whole idea is to work with teams collaboratively and all that. So that's your teams. And right now on my screen here, you can see that these are all different teams that I have been part of, or whatnot. So you can even minimize or maximize them. These are assignments, calendar, which shows what you are doing and all that. And then the calls, if anybody has called you or if you have called anybody while video call or video meetings and all that. The files from all the chats and all the teams go here. So it's one place where you can find all the files, which is pretty much like this. So and then just something like this. Now if you are just starting a meeting, you can just click here, join or create a team. You can join a team through this or create a team, some settings, and then this is a funnel which is just going to help you with shortlisting the teams and whatnot. Now what happens is that sometimes you are having multiple email addresses that can help you log into Microsoft Teams. So here's where you can change those. So this is how that is, and if you click here on the top, you will see that this is my name. You can change your picture, you can change your status and all this stuff. Just make sure that you should look for this check for updates most of the times, because Microsoft Teams is currently consistently evolving, and they are sending in new updates and all that stuff. So I've seen that many people are complaining, saying that they cannot see the new updates, and that's just because Microsoft Teams is not updated. So make sure that you're looking out for updates. Now there are certain new things that are in Microsoft Teams, and those are things like larger gallery view or auditorium view, which is essentially called together mode. If you cannot see that, there's a simple way of doing it. Just go to settings here, and once you are in settings, you will see that here is one option called turn on new meeting experiences, new meeting score and all this. So if this is unchecked, make sure that you have checked it, and once it's checked, you should be good to go. You should be able to see all those new experiences. So just make sure that this is there. Now let's move into the tips that I have for you, 10 different tips. So I'll start with tip number one. Tip number one that we have is that if you have a lot of teams, and let's say if you are sending a message to your team, sometimes it's difficult to remember names of the teams, right? So for example, if I'm looking at this team, which is USF and hospitality industry leader, whatever, it's a long name, it's difficult to remember. So what I can do is I can create a tag for it, and this is basically working as social media. So if I go and click on these three dots, it shows here manage tags. So if I click on this manage tags, it shows that my team does not have a tag. Now the thing is that I am not the owner of this team, so I cannot create a tag for it. So let me go into a team that I own. which is, let's say, this one, HM plus DA team group. So let's say I click on this, I go here to manage tags. It's just going to show me that there's no tag, so I'm just going to create tag, and here I am just going to tag it by saying HG. Okay, and then here I'm just going to tag something called, let's say, at Jehan, and I create this tag. So now I have this tag, and I can just simply click on this and directly send a message to Jehan or in that group. So this is helpful for people who are working with pretty large teams, like organization-wide teams and whatnot. So creating these tags are going to help you with a lot of stuff. Number 2 is where you can drag and drop teams. So let's say if I do not use this RAB GRP team a lot, I'm just gonna drag it down. Let's say drag it down. This CHTL faculty and staff group I use a lot, so I can drag it up. And this is just a way of organizing the team so that it's easier for you to locate them in the future if you have a lot of teams to work with. So that is your tip number 2. Tip number 3 is to look at this bar here. So normally a lot of you would see that these are the options that you have. You can obviously drag and drop these as well so that it's easier for you to look around. But then one good thing about this is if you click on these 3 dots, you can actually add some apps here. So let's say if I use OneNote a lot, so I just click on this OneNote, and then I'll see that OneNote is here, which is just going to help me because it's easier for me to have easy access to one of these apps. But remember, this is only for one app, so you cannot do multiple apps here. But what you can do is just change them around. So let's say planner, and then the planner is here. So it's just an easy access to these apps which you can do. You can easily remove this one from here by uninstalling it, so it's going to be uninstalled. Now one thing is that sometimes you have a team, and let's say I will just open this one. Let's say I open this team, and this team has a lot of this chat and all that stuff. So sometimes what happens is you are in a meeting and there's a lot of messages coming on, and you cannot just have time to read a lot of messages. So in that scenario, what you can do is you can save this message for later on. So once the meeting is over, you can go and read that message, especially if it's an important message that is pretty long to read. So what you can do is, let's say if this is a message that came to you, what you can do is go to these 3 dots, click on them, and here is one option called save this message. So let's say I save this message, then I go to another team. Let's say I go to a team, and I go to a team called go here. So let's say this is one team that has some chat. So let's say in this chat I want to save this message. So I go here to 3 dots again and save the message. So this is, again, I can see here save. Now how do you access these saved messages? So you can simply go here, click on your profile picture. You should be able to see saved messages. So when you click here, now these are your saved messages. So this is the one that you saved, which obviously is this message, and this is the other one that you saved. So you can always come back here and you can look at those saved messages that you have saved later on after your meetings and whatnot. So this is your tip number 4. Let's move to tip number 5. And tip number 5 is, sometimes let's say you are chatting with people. Let's say if you are in a meeting and you want everybody to pay attention to you, to whatever you are saying and whatnot. So what you can do is, let's say I open this chat, and in this chat I am sending a message. Hey everyone, how are you doing? So this is a message that I send. Now what happened is that it just goes like a normal message, but what happens is sometimes you want to send an announcement and you want everybody to pay attention to it. So instead of typing a message right here, here's this one option. If you click on this option, you can see that here, this one, click on it and it shows an option called announcement. So when you click on an announcement, here is what you see. So let's say I call it very important. Here I can add a subheading. Please do not disregard, and then I go to the announcement. Please make sure to fill in the return to campus survey. And this is, and obviously you can do different things. You can change the background here, you can change the color if you want it to really look like an announcement, make it into red. And now when you send it, what will happen is this one goes like this as an announcement with an icon here, so everybody can have an idea of what's coming through them. So this is another tip. It's very important, especially if you are in meetings where you really want people to pay attention to what you are saying and not miss it out. So that is your tip number 5. Now let's move to tip number 6, and tip number 6 is related to what we did, and that is you don't have to send these boring messages. Sometimes you should be interested in sending messages that are formatted. So you go here to the same place, and here in this new conversation you can simply write a message. Hey everyone, I hope you are all doing well, and then I want to change this color of well, let's say into orange a little bit with a highlighter. Let's say this just because I want people to feel good. Let me change it to yellow, and then here this one I also want it to be bold. And you can do all these things, and then here you can obviously change other stuff, add a table to your message, and all that stuff. So then you can send it. So once you send it, you can see it's rich text format, and you can add whatever you want into your message, and this makes it very easier for everybody to see what exactly do you want to say. So that is your tip number 6. Now tip number 7 is something called tabs. So you can obviously add tabs. Now here this is called special issue group, which is a team, and then under the team you see this is general. So you have all these posts, so everybody who chats or whatever, everything comes here. If people are sharing any type of files, they should go here, which is this, which I don't see. But let's say you want to add something else on these tabs, and sometimes we want to do some sort of documentation and whatnot. So you just come here to this plus, click on this, and you will see what type of tabs you can add here. So you can add here something like, let's say, Adobe Sign, which you can definitely do, or Insights, or Power Apps, or PowerPoint, or all these different type of things. Let's say I want to add wiki. Okay, so when I click on wiki, it's gonna ask me wiki, save it, and then now once it's saved, I will see it added here as a tab, which is this one. So in wiki, this works same like Wikipedia, and this is good for collaborative things. So let's say I want to name this something called let's say COVID-19 and higher education, and then here we can add a section, and we can call it primary education, and then we can add another section called higher education, and then here in different places people can contribute whatever, right? So this can be done by the entire team, and this is a good thing if you are, let's say, working in a team on a research paper and whatnot. So this is one section where everybody can come and contribute, like a wiki page, and this is also equipped with rich text formatting, so people can add whatnot here, everything. So that is basically your tip number 7. Let's move to tip number 8, and tip number 8 is again a cool tip. I'll come back to posts where I said announcements and all this. Now what happens is that sometimes you are in a team and you want everybody to praise somebody, or you want to send a good vibe to anybody or something like this. So many times I've seen that when we have our own organizational wide messages, people just either use the main posting area, or if there's a meeting going on, which is a video meeting, like for instance, if let's say I start this video meeting like this, then what happens is, okay, so this is connecting. Okay, so this is connecting, and I see that what happens is sometimes people just use this chat window to send messages and whatever, right? So this is what normally people do. But if you are in this whole meeting here where everybody is chatting, there's a very good way of doing it. And if you look here, there's something called praise. So if you click on this praise, it will allow you to praise different people in this team, and this can be done for these multiple things. So let's say I want to praise somebody in my team or for being very creative, and then it gives me names of people. So let's say I just name a good friend of mine, Siddhan, and then I preview it and then I send it. So once I send it, then everybody can see here which says that Ali Faizan sent praise to Siddhan for being creative, which is a cool thing, because now what many people can do is they can like it by saying that yes, they also agree or love it, or be angry at it, because there might be people who do not think that Siddhan is creative. So there's something like this. So this is your tip number 8. We have 2 other tips very quick. Tip number 9 is where you can use shortcuts to do different type of things, and this is very simple. So if you come here right on the top here, which is search, you can easily see which it says look for messages, files and more, or type / for a list of commands. Now one thing that it says is that when you do this symbol @ it's going to give you a lot of shortcuts for programs and apps, but if you do / then it's command. So let's say I do @ then it already gives me all these different things. So let's say I say @ of YouTube, and then I click on it, so it's just going to give me this YouTube app. So I click on add, so it's going to bring YouTube here, and then now it asks me to paste the link. Right, so youtube.com/ResearchBeast. Let's see if it's gonna help. Yes, so it brings all these videos that ResearchBeast has done. So let's say I just wanna come here, welcome to ResearchBeast, and save, and let's see what it's gonna do is very interesting things. So now what I see is here another tab that actually has this YouTube video. But if you look here on the top, now with this tab you have a YouTube thing right on the top, and you can simply go here and search for, let's say, University of South Florida, and then now you will see that there is a lot of videos about University of South Florida. So directly searching from within Microsoft Teams, and then you can copy this one, go back to your posts if you want, and then you can simply paste it here so that everybody can watch this video. So this is again a shortcut for you to, if you want to integrate YouTube. This is also good if you are teaching a class or if you are in a meeting and you want people to watch a video or whatnot. So this is an easier way. We can definitely go here and do some other things. So again, add, and then it's going to give you a lot of other things, so you can do this. But let's say if I don't want to do add and I just want to do /, so as soon as you do /, you will see a lot of these shortcuts here, and then right in front it will show you what can you do. So let's say I can do / and I can write away, enter, and what will happen is that now if you look here, my status become away instead of available, which is good because everybody would see that, right? If I don't want to do this / away, then the other way is I need to go here, click on my profile, click here, and then change the status from here. So just an easy way of doing it by using shortcuts. So this was your tip number 9. Now tip number 10 is something that many people use, and I've seen many people struggling with this, and that is, let's say if you are in this one team and you want to create a poll and you want to see how people are feeling and whatever. So again, let me go to this special issue group and let's see here. So let's say if here we have people in this group, and I want to just ask them how do they think about this video, right? So what can I do? I mean, simply I can put a question here, just like, let's say, what do you think about this video? And let's say I say this. One way is I send it and then everybody give me a lot of answers, but then again there's no way for me to bring all these answers together and really understand what people think. So instead of that, what I can do is go here down, and here I would see there's one option called poll. When I click on poll, it's just going to bring me here, and it is going to ask me what I want to ask. So I just do this, and then here I can set it up due in 1 week or right at that time, whatever, and I go next. All right, so this is what it is. And then also I'm going to send it. Once it's sent, you will see that here. So poll, Faizan says this. So let's say I select great, and then I submit my vote, and then we'll see how other people do it, and then we can click on view result. And once I click on view result, so here's what we have. You can certainly download it as an image or CSV and all that stuff. So these are 10 different tips that I think can help you navigate Microsoft Teams in a better way. I'll be doing another video that will be specifically for teachers who are using Microsoft Teams to teach this semester or in the future. However, these tips are just, in my opinion, some good tips for you to do better with Microsoft Teams. If you know some other tips, or if you think there are some other tips that can help others, please put them down in the comments below and we can get some conversation going on. Thank you. I hope that you use these tips, and I hope that your meeting experience with Microsoft Teams will be much better when you use these tips. Thank you very much, and have a good